Do you at times find yourself caught up in rhythms or patterns of mothering that you didn't necessarily choose or that kind of just happened without you realizing it? If so, you are not alone. And in today's video, I am going to talk about ways that you can be intentional about crafting a motherhood that's a true reflection of who you are as a person. Now more than ever, it is so easy to notice what others are doing, either in real life or especially via social media, and lose sight of who we are and what our unique strengths and abilities are, and capitalizing on those in our roles as moms. Here are 6 tips to consider as you think about how to craft a motherhood that is a unique expression of who you are, not who you think you should be, but who you are and the mother that you want to be. The first thing is to identify and reflect on what your strengths were before you became a mom, what your strengths are outside of motherhood. If you're working outside the home, what are your strengths in your job, in your relationships, with your spouse, with your friends, with your family members? What are strengths that others have identified in you and maybe called out in you? Those are likely going to be strengths that you can bring into your mothering journey. The second thing is to accept that you can't do everything that you see other moms doing that you really admire and look up to. It's so important to have moms that we can see mothering and kind of glean from some of their strengths and some of the things that they do, and to really appreciate where they shine. But we have to recognize that we are not them. You are not that mom. You have a different personality, different set of strengths, different set of skills, and you don't have to try to be that mom. It's okay to want to grow in certain areas. It's good to want to improve our growth areas, but it can become unhelpful when you start to think that you have to become better in a particular area in order to be a good mom. You are a good mom with the strengths and the abilities and skills that you have right now. The third thing is to identify any expectations or pressures that you have put on yourself or that maybe you feel from others that aren't actually things that are important to you in motherhood, things that you don't really value. Are there things that you are doing in your mothering that you don't really even want to do but feel like you have to? If so, that's a great thing to recognize and to evaluate of, is this an expectation that I've put on myself that I don't need to, that I can release so that I have more space to craft and embrace a motherhood that is more genuine and more authentic to who I am? The fourth thing is to be mindful of the messages that you're receiving from social media. With social media, it is so easy to compare ourselves to other moms, when in reality, social media only gives a glimpse into another mom's reality. I'm not saying that the moms we see on social media aren't being authentic, aren't being genuine. Oftentimes they are, but it's also just not the full picture. And that in and of itself can create some pressures that we feel that we should be doing something different or that we should be better at this thing. And that can stir up feelings of insecurity or inadequacy. The fifth thing is to identify what your top priorities and values are in motherhood, in your role as a mom. What are the most important things that you want to foster in your relationships with your kids, in your days with your kids? Identifying your top values and priorities in your mothering journey will help you be more mindful. And number 6, the most important thing is to be intentional. If we're not mindful about it, motherhood can easily go by in an overstimulated, sleep-deprived blur where it's so easy to get caught up in expectations that maybe we didn't even know that we had, that maybe others put on us, we picked up from our culture or from social media, or even that we just put on ourselves. Yet by owning our strengths, knowing our values and priorities, and being intentional about structuring our days around those values and priorities, we can craft a motherhood that is a true reflection of who we are and who we want to be, not who we think that we should be. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this video was helpful to you, please like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.